Lord, continually give us guidance, Lord. Let us put off anything that breaks unity in seeking you. We ask that in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. If you would, please join me in the pledge to this great nation. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I pledge to the great state of Texas.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
We are really pleased and honored today to have with us the North Central Texas Academy at Happy Hills Farm with us. Look at these young, good-looking girls here that played their hearts out and won state in volleyball. And they did it just to coincide with their 50th anniversary. So that's really doing the right thing. The universe really lined up well to do that. Is Lucas Shipman here?
Yes.
Lucas, you're going to read the proclamation. You know who this guy is.
Thank you, sir.
Good to see you again.
Appreciate it. Good to see you. Thanks
Good.
for having us.
Good.
We're honored to be here and thankful for this recognition from our great neighboring town. It says, proclamation honoring North Central Texas Academy, Happy Hill Farm on their 50th anniversary. I guess I'll read it. This makes more sense. I can speak loud. Whereas Mr. Ed Shipman and his wife Gloria opened the Children's Home and Academy in 1975 at Happy Hill Farm, Ed Shipman Memorial Highway 3846, North Highway 144, Granbury. And whereas Mr. Shipman's goal was to help bolster Happy Hill Farm's future ability to provide children with college preparatory education and the training necessary to produce men and women with compassion and character. And whereas from its earliest days, Happy Hill Farm has operated without state or federal funding, relying instead on the generosity of donors, churches, and individuals. And whereas that began with a single late-night call and 2 frightened girls on a doorstep, has become a legacy of hope. And whereas, in my words, for 50 years, we've been saying yes to helping kids in need. They all come from low opportunity situations, but they also have something else in common. They are full of potential. All they need is a chance to be who God created them to be. And whereas, because of the lifelong mission of Ed, Gloria, Lucas, and the entire Shipman family, as well as the dedicated staff and volunteers at North Central Texas Academy, thousands of young lives have been shaped, and generations of students have received the skills, faith, and confidence to become faithful leaders in our community and beyond. And whereas the Hood County Commissioners Court wishes to recognize the 50th anniversary of Happy Hill Farm and recognize the impact to the lives of innumerable young people over the last 50 years. Now, therefore, the Hood County Commissioners Court encourages all Hood County residents to join us in congratulating the Shipman family and Happy Hill Farm on their 50th anniversary celebration. Thank you so much. Quick picture. Thank you. Thank you.
One thing about Ed Shipman, he was the only person I know that could get an audience with anybody. He could call the president, the governor, anybody in the state. Nobody ever said no to Ed Shipman. What a great
There's more. Oh, okay.
All right. All of you from all all over everybody here. This is, let's all face the audience. This is kind of get everybody in the picture.
Probably, do we want to have some of the girls kind of down on the, like, kneel down in front, and that way we can pull in more? And girls, you know what to do, angle that way and that way so you can squish in. And then make sure you give a window. Yeah, so make a window for this, because, you know, yeah, if you're tall, maybe come down and they're all. Yeah. Girls, you can make 2 rows. These girls, you can be kind of down like this, and then these girls will be up like this and one in the middle.
Thanks, Christy.
Yeah. So Benny, come down. Yeah. Let me have these 2 girls come down real quick too, Georgia. Yes, sir. Y'all come down real quick. Yes, sir. Kneel down. Okay.
This is the bodyguard here. This is the bodyguard right here. The bus driver's back there taking pictures.
All right, official proclamation to honor the North Central Texas Academy Lady Pioneers TAIAO State Girls Volleyball Championship. Whereas the exceptional team chemistry, hard work, determination, sportsmanship, and talent of the 2025 NCTA Lady Pioneers volleyball team empowered these student athletes to earn the state championship title. And whereas on Saturday, October 18th, 2025, NCTA Lady Pioneers won the 2025 state title by defeating the Brazos Valley Christian Educators Association Lady Mustangs, winning 3 out of 4 sets at the Legends Event Center in Bryan, Texas. Whereas the NCTA Lady Pioneers have won 2 state championships in the last 3 years, and whereas winning the 2025 TAIAO State Girls Volleyball Championship brought honor to North Central Texas Academy and Hood County on the local, state, and national level. Now therefore, I, Nanette Samuelson, Commissioner for Precinct 2, along with all the members of the Commissioners Court and Hood County, Texas, do hereby recognize and heartily congratulate North Central Texas Academy and the NCTA Lady Pioneers volleyball team on its outstanding accomplishment. And further, I urge all citizens of Hood County to join me in recognizing all members of the team, their coaches, and parents in celebrating the team's achievement and wish the members continued success. And it's signed, adopted this 12th day of November 2025 by Judge Massingill and all the members of the Commissioners Court.
Okay, good to see y'all. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Look at those girls in service. Are y'all spikers?
Yes, we are.
Have you broken another girl's nose yet?
Yes.
Yeah. I figured that.
Is that the right spot, Melissa?
service awards, right? All right, the next agenda item is citizens' comments at large. We have 13, and every person gets 5 minutes. So the first speaker is Greg Harrell.
Well, good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak. Oh, can you put that on? Thank you so much for allowing me to speak to you today. Actually, today I bring a gift for every Hood County Constitution-loving patriot. And here it is. Let's listen to this. Over here. Bear with me 1 minute. And if it doesn't work, I'll speak anyway. Okay, well, I'll speak into it. Sorry about that. As you well know, last week, a gentleman got arrested here in Hood County for what we have been told is the posting of a screenshot or a meme or however you want to define it. I just wanted to rise this morning to say that I believe that this is not what Hood County is, nor is it what Hood County should ever be. We are a county of Constitution-loving, free-spirited patriots, for the most part. Now this arrest last week, and it doesn't matter who that person is from my perspective, but this arrest last week is quite troubling because it comes on the heels of what I now view is a pattern of arrest here in Hood County, and those arrests are based on what people's perceived political alignment seems to be. Later on during my presentation, I will actually say their names because we've got to get to a point where we begin to say their names. As the Hood County Republican chairman, one of the things that concerns me as I go about the county and speak to a lot of people here, I have talked to numerous individuals in this county that, one, have either left the political process out of fear of retribution, reprisal, or simply having their names dragged through the mud on social media. I have even come across people that have left this county due to the toxic political environment that seems to exist here. This has to stop. Certainly we can all agree that each and every one of us, no matter what our political stripe is, no matter what our political bent is, we can agree that we can have good constructive dialogue on the behalf of moving Hood County forward, and we ought to be doing that. Unfortunately, what we see taking place here in Hood County is that if you are perceived to be in a certain on a certain side of the political spectrum, you are subject to fear and arrest in this county right now. That's my view. Judge, commissioners, this ought not to be. We have to fix it. We have to address it. I'm going to say their names. People whose mugshot have appeared in social media almost immediately after their book. Steve Biggers, Diane Raspberry, Eva Royer, Kolton Krottinger. Say their names. Look out on social media and see their mugshots. What are we doing here? This must stop. It cannot continue. We can speak We have the right to speak. We must protect that right to speak. I believe that each and every one of you that are sitting on the court this morning believe in those things, but we have allowed the situation in Hood County through our law enforcement to devolve to a point where there is fear in this community. And that cannot continue. We need to address the root cause. I don't know what the root cause is, but should be never any laughing by individuals. I don't care whether it's on social media, when some individual's voice is silenced. We saw in shock, we watched in shock as Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and then we turn around and we see on social media that folks are laughing about it. Here in Hood County, people's political voices are being silenced, and then almost immediately, people are celebrating that event. No more. This must stop. We have to get to the bottom of it. You guys can provide part of the solution. The legal system will certainly step in to provide more of the solution. But I'm just telling you, we need to allow everybody to participate in this political process. Thank you very much.
I'm moving slowly, it'll take me a minute. And short. Hello, Commissioners. My name is Karen Clark, and I live in Biloxi Valley near the proposed Sailfish Data Center. I recently listened to the Somerville County Water District Board meeting with Sailfish Representative Ryan Hughes and NRG's representative, which I don't remember his name, I'm sorry. He may argue.
Speaker, ma'am, full speaker, the microphone, just there you go.
Oh my gosh, okay. All right, anyway, I listened to a recording of this Somerville County Water Board with Mr. Hughes and the NRG rep, which I don't know his name. When talking about how much water this data center would need, Mr. Hughes has thrown out different, amounts. And he admitted in this meeting that he really doesn't know how much water they're gonna use. All he knows is that they can legally draw 1.3 million gallons a day off their wells they can drill on their property. And that, that's, I don't know how much, but that seems like an awful lot of water. As the Somerville County Water District Board told him they don't have enough water to provide that much water to them on a daily basis. They said they would have to look to purchase more from the VRA, other suppliers around Lake Granbury, water rights in Biloxi, or groundwater rights. They said there was more than enough water rights available in the Biloxi River. When they were discussing how much water they need, Mr. Hughes did say, once it is completed, it will take 95 million gallons to load all the buildings. And initially, they will put that 95 million gallons of water in there, and then they have to flush that initial water out and put in fresh 95 million gallons. And every time that the water turns, has too many toxic chemicals in it, they will discharge it, and they may build a water treatment plant on site, or perhaps Somerville County will help them with that. And they will have to load however many per building. He doesn't say how many buildings he's building that I know of, just that in total, that's how much water it will take to operate this complex. Somebody had been asking about the electricity that they will provide to the grid. The NRG guy was very honest. Mr. Hughes kept saying, we're gonna put more energy, our excess energy into the grid. The NRG guy said, and I'm quoting, there should be enough generation at all times to export a little bit to the grid. And he repeated that twice. They're going to export a little bit to the grid. And then Mr. Hughes announced that his company has 6 data centers currently being proposed or planned to be built in Texas, and they are affiliated with Project Patriot that's also going to be built in Hood County. I know a lot of people are looking for jobs from this project, but they did announce, Mr. Hughes did announce that they have a contract with this global company. And what this company is going to do They're gonna take their company, their employees, and go from one project to the next, to the next. So how many jobs it's gonna generate while during construction, I have no idea. But they are gonna have the basic group that they need to build this project, that they will move from project to project. Then, one of the board members asked, about something Mr. Hughes had mentioned. He said that, they're gonna employ about 200 employees once it's completed. That's a large number if you research data centers, that's not how many they usually employ once it is completed. And one of the board members was concerned about lights and the light pollution. And she asked, are you gonna have these big bright lights on this project? Because we like our dark skies out here in Somerville County. And he stated, we're gonna have very few employees, so small employee parking lights were not big bright lights. Now, he's saying few employees here, he said 200 before, so I don't know what's true. And then a member of the board asked, are you going to have meetings, are you gonna have hearings? So, because this sounds great to us members of the water board, but the citizens of Somerville County are not gonna want this, you're gonna have to win them over. Are you gonna do hearings, are you gonna do meetings? And he said, again quoting, so from a real estate perspective, as owner perspective, there's not much we need in terms of approvals. And thank you all for your time.
The next speaker is Andrea Ferguson.
She's gonna hand out some papers. Good morning, because I still can't reach up. Sorry.
Okay.
This is just letting you know that my department, the tax assessor collector's vehicle registration office, will no longer be open on the weekends. It is not cost effective for my department to be open on Saturdays from 8:30 to noon. We actually are spending more money to have employees there than we are making. We're there from 8:30 to noon. Most people don't show up until 10:30 or 11. If we do not do side work, as in Texas Title Girl or Texas Motors, we will lucky be bringing in maybe $1,000 that day, and that's having 2 employees there at all times. So we were, as of last month, that is our last Saturday to be open on Saturdays. We might be open one Saturday during boat season, but during winter times, we don't make anything. It costs more money to have us there, especially now with the comp time and the holiday time and stuff. If we work a Saturday that has holiday pay, my girls get 8 hours over. So then now I gotta find a way to get rid of the 8 hours. And if I take them out during the week, then my department is short during that week. And that is including a supervisor and a clerk. So we won't be open on the weekends anymore as of last month. And I brought everything to show you. If you look at the months that have the high numbers, that's doing side work for Title Girl or Texas Motors. You take that away, we ain't making nothing. So we'll no longer be open. I just wanted to let everybody know this is the perfect time here to let y'all know that we've made that decision, and we might be open during 1 month during boat season. That's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call. I have 5 years worth of data to show for it in my office to show the loss going down. Was it last Saturday? Was it last Saturday we worked? We had 2 people show up. Just 2 people come in, and they didn't show up until after 10. The rest of the time, they sit there and wait. So it's just not cost effective anymore.
And currently you're open one day a month, one Saturday a month, is that correct?
That's it. So as of now, we won't be. And And that's, everybody knows, I mean, we've been open on Saturday since I started and no one comes. No one shows up. And we let everybody know all week, hey, we're open Saturday, we're open Saturday, we post it to our boards, we post it everywhere, they do not show up. So, I just wanted to make sure to make it clear, if you wanna know, feel free to give us a call, we will be more than happy to explain it. Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you.
All right, the next speaker is Sherry Holmes.
Good morning. My name is Sherry Holmes. I live on Bell Chase Road in Pecan. And I wanted to talk to you this morning and express our great concern over the Fort Skokie project that's being developed. We are on the river and we love the way of life out there. But it is increasingly becoming very frustrating because we are a couple of miles from the data center over at Mitchell Bend, and it is loud. I walk out on my back porch, I hear it now. What's gonna happen when the other one goes in? I mean, now we're gonna have light in addition to the air pollution from it, and the sound, and it's gonna be overwhelming. We can hear it at times in our bedroom at night. So I ask you to please, please, be the ministers of good that we pray for all people. And we were there, I hate to say it, but we were there first before this AI and all the data centers were coming in. We lived there for a reason. We want to have good life for all of us. And I just ask that you would consider also that our property values will probably decline because how are we gonna sell if we decide we can't stand the noise? What are we gonna do? We're gonna lose that investment that we've made. So, I just ask that you respectfully consider all of us who have been there for many years. And there's others that have been there a whole lot longer than we have. Just be stewards of what God's given us. The land, the water, the air, and be those ministers for good. Thank you for your time.
I'm here to talk about primarily the Comanche Circle, the water and the power. I'm also concerned about but I just wanted to say, we've seen a lot of numbers bandied about, we heard some more. I pulled some numbers from some reports in Abilene, also paperwork down the water board. But I just want to say, Stargate Water, okay, we're going to take a look at this because it's a good comparison. They had 463 million gallons, I guess, to start. It's been used over the last 2 years. I don't think they're running yet. So I think there's a lot of water they're going to need before that 95 million flush and fill. 10 million gallons a year subsequently, that's about 200,000 a week. Okay, Comanche Circle. They're saying 95 million gallons one time to flush and fill. There's probably more. They also say 150,000 gallons a day. That translates to over 1 million gallons a week. I'm not sure if their numbers are right, but we've heard a lot of numbers. Power. I'm interested in power because that's also water. They need the water to cool the processors with their power. So as the power goes up, the water need goes up. If they continue to expand, they're going to continue to grab water. 1.4 gigawatts to start on Stargate, grow to 7.5 gigawatts. 10 gigawatts is the goal. This is coming from CEOs. Senator Cruz was there. Comanche Circle Power, we're not sure about it. We haven't seen a master plan, know anything about what the full growth is. But they're saying 1.2 gigawatts to start and grow to 5 gigawatts. I'm gonna go to my next subject. Brazos River Environmental Protection. I'm handing out to you paper that is suggesting that we formulate, and I'll just go through it briefly here. The introduction of environmental protection of the watershed to invoke the authority of subchapter K, review the impacts of runoff, drainage, noise, etc., establish environmental protection districts, adopt Brazos River Environmental Protection Ordinance, and create Hood County Development Commission to oversee. Draft ordinance, chapter 231, subchapter K, prevent harm to the Brazos River Basin, Lake Granbury, and tributaries. Unincorporated areas within 5 miles of this basin is what I'm suggesting. Lake and tributary, to protect the water quality from unregulated runoff and drainage. Create an environmental ordinance, chapter 231.225. Develop regulations. Setbacks, 2,000 feet. Noise reduction, 60 dB during the day, 40 dB at night. Noise restriction, I'm sorry. Drainage and wastewater, closed loop systems. You need to require that, not just believe them. County approval with independent testing and monitoring at the fence line. Air, noise, runoff data, and all publicly accessible, full transparency. Public safety alerts for valve blow or chemical release events. Those folks down near Mitchell Bend know what I'm talking about. They are allowed. Penalties, violations, we know, $500 a day, $1,000 a day max. This is a state law, and I'm saying that we need to work to revise that schedule for continuous violations. Otherwise, they'll just write you a check every year for $365,000. That'll be operating costs, and then we move on. I urge you today to adopt the proposed Brazos River Basin Environmental Protection Ordinance that you have in front of you. There's create a Hood County Development Commission and require air dispersion and runoff impact studies before approving any new industrial permits. I thank you all for your time.
The next speaker is John Shirley.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. I would like to kindly ask the leadership and citizens of the county to look down the road, given the current course, if the misadventures of some continue, or heaven help us, metastasize into something potentially far worse. The civil liability the taxpayers could eventually be on the hook for could be enormous, not to mention the decades-plus litigation at the state and federal appellate levels that our taxpayers would have to fund along the way. There's also the waves of media attention that we don't need nor want. Should I even mention a potential federal consent decree? All of this in an attempted end run around the First Amendment by a very few misguided people in positions of authority. And we aren't talking about limiting comments about a Facebook post. We're talking about taking away someone's freedom and sending him to prison for exercising a right he personally fought for in the military. We as a county don't have to choose this path. This is an unnecessary misadventure that does nothing but keep people around the community angry and inflamed and draw negative attention toward us from the entire nation. Ask yourselves, who benefits from the continued strife and negative attention being wrought in our county? Definitely not the citizens and taxpayers. But who does is an important question that needs to be answered eventually. My fellow citizens, let's turn back. The chilling effect of attacks like this on the First Amendment is repugnant to our Constitution and our values. Thank you.
Next speaker is Tom Weeks.
Good morning. My name is Tom Weeks. I live in the Mitchell Bend area, have for the last nearly 30 years. And I want to talk about failure. And failure in respect to right now the Bitcoin mine. That's been a horrible failure for the citizens. We have been robbed of our night sky. We've been robbed of our peace and quiet. And something else has come to my attention. We're going to be robbed of our river, one of our best resources, besides the lake. For years, I've been watching where the runoff goes whenever we have torrential rains. And if anybody's ever been down Mitchell Bend when that happens, you get past my property and you're in 6 feet of water. Well, that all goes into a ravine, which makes it into a creek, which actually dumps into the Brazos River. Now behind me, where this water runs through, is 2 power plants, a Bitcoin mine, and basically somebody's homemade junkyard full of junky, rusty cars. And I just wonder what else that runs through on its way to the river. And I just want to bring that to people's attention and let them know that, you know, we've got to be holding people accountable. You know, we've got to have people testing our water, testing our runoff, testing our rivers, protecting our natural resources, because if we keep giving these things up and letting them go to hell, we're going to wind up without them. And I just trust you guys to take this into consideration and think about these things as they come up, because we're going to lose them. And I just fear it's going to happen. This is a great county we live in. I love living here. And I've met some of the greatest people ever, but they're all in fear of losing something, whether it's their peace and quiet, their rights, their freedoms, but even our natural resources. So I implore you to help us protect these things and stand guard over them. And because when they're spoiled, there's usually no turning back. There's nothing we can do. Thank you.
Okay, good morning and happy belated Veterans Day. Judge Massingill and Commissioners, my name is Monica Brown. I'm proud to call Hood County home, a county once known for its faith, its freedom and love of country. I'm here because something deeply wrong happened in our community. Veteran Kolton Krottinger, a man who served our nation, was arrested, handcuffed, and placed in solitary confinement for sharing a harmless political meme. He was labeled high profile, had his phone confiscated, it's confiscated to this day, and was banned from social media, cutting off his livelihood. And now we've learned something even more alarming. The Justice of the Peace, who signed the paperwork authorizing this arrest, has said publicly on Facebook that she didn't know what she was signing. Think about it, a veteran taken from his home, locked up in solitary and silenced based on a document that the judge herself didn't understand. That is not justice, it is a breakdown of oversight and due process. You understand this is a national embarrassment. Do you understand this is a national embarrassment? Instead of highlighting our community strengths, Hood County is again the subject of a viral fiasco. All because a JP signed something she said she didn't know she was signing. And law enforcement clearly do not understand First Amendment rights or the difference between harmful and harmless speech. Let me be clear. I am not saying anyone should make means to mock someone else. That's not the point. The point is the reaction of local law enforcement arresting a veteran, taking his livelihood, and putting him in solitary for a harmless mean. Meanwhile, other public figures make far more serious statements and nothing happens, and I'm chief of it. Every one of you know about it. This is an insult to the intelligence of the people of this community. Even the simplest minds know better. And Hood County deserves better. I believe Kolton Krottinger will come out stronger, and the people of this county can see justice and overreach when it occurs. Let's look at the conditions of bond. Kolton was told he cannot be near the victim and cannot possess firearms. Good job demasculating somebody, although you won't. He's much more of a man than that. Think about it, strict punitive restrictions for a harmless mean that posed no threat, not one threat. And what about the term victim itself? Legally, a victim is someone who suffered real harm, injury, loss, or a violation of legal rights. Kolton's mean caused no physical, financial, or legal harm. At most, it was a political joke. Labeling someone a victim in this context is an exaggeration, a misapplication of the law, and another example of overreach. My heart and my hope is that you will focus on real threats like drug trafficking, gangs. Sheriff talked about the gangs across the street from the Justice Center 2 weeks ago. Venezuelan gang members laying low. No worries. And leave veterans and upstanding citizens alone. If something needs addressing, a warning would have sufficed. But handcuffs, solitary confinement, confiscating his phone and his income, and strict bond conditions, who's going to stand for that?
Not me.
And why would we stand for it? Would you want it for your own family, your own veteran? I've got one overseas right now, fighting for this. This is not red, white, and blue. It's not America, and I contend it's not Granbury. Law enforcement's job is to protect our freedoms, not punish them. That's why I urge the sheriff and the police to participate in the highest task force level in the federal 287G ICE program. That partnership allows officers to identify and remove violent offenders, criminals, and gang members, protecting our community from real threats. Today, I'm asking the court to take decisive action. Open or request an independent investigation or audit into Kolton Krottinger's arrest, confinement, and the process that led a judge to sign paperwork she didn't understand. Number 2, publicly affirm that free speech and due process will always be protected in Hood County. Number 3, direct a full policy review of the Sheriff's Office and Detention Center, covering solitary confinement for non-violent individuals, high-profile classifications, confiscation of phones, and social media restrictions. Hood County should stand for law and order, fairness, and freedom, not for jailing a veteran over a meme or paperwork no one understood. Let's send a clear message. In Hood County, the Constitution still means something. We stand with our veterans, we stand with free speech, and we expect our law enforcement and courts to uphold justice, not weaponize it. Thank you, Judge Massingill and commissioners, for defending the integrity, safety, and liberty of Hood County.
Thank you, Judge and Commissioners, for allowing me a little time to speak to you this morning. Lawfare, L-A-W-F-A-R-E, refers to the strategic use of legal actions and litigation to achieve a political or social goal, often by exploiting or manipulating the legal system to harass, intimidate, and undermine an opponent. This can involve filing frivolous lawsuits, using legal proceedings to delay or disrupt an opponent's activities, or leveraging the legal system to gain a strategic advantage in a non-legal system. The term law, L-A-W-F-A-R-E, combines law and warfare, highlighting the idea that legal mechanisms are being used as a form of combat or strategic maneuvering rather than solely for the purpose of justice or resolution of legitimate legal disputes. Lawfare can be a contentious issue as it blurs the lines between legitimate legal recourse and the misuse of the legal system. Roger Sissy Ryan. 3 names that I have recently learned. They have now appointed Kolton Krottinger as our Charlie Kirk. We now have our own Charlie Kirk. I thought I'd only have 2 minutes, so I will relate to you an event I had. And I've learned the name of the accuser, who must have an N with the sheriff. Her name is Tina Brown. She is a political activist. Everybody knows that's involved. Now, she's always on my other side and doesn't work with me. But she basically said that was bad. You couldn't do that. You couldn't post on social media. On the 6th of November, I got an email that said Krottinger had been booked, arrested for a felony for some post on social media. So my first reaction is, oh, I'll call the DA. Well, you've trained these people very well. I said, and you know that on social media, there's a note that says Carl has been charged and arrested and charged with a felony. Are you aware? Is that real or is that fake? Since your people are very well trained. She said, I can't answer any question. Can you tell me if it's real or not? No, I can't answer that. So I don't give up real easy. So I got a public information request, got in the car, drove to the DA's office. Same thing, Lady Amy said, oh, we can't answer any question because that's an active investigation. My God, she's been charged. How can it be active? You've already charged him. So she said, I need your last name. She said, I can't tell you my last name. I work for the DA. What's the matter? You people are scared of the population that hired you, that gave you all the money? So then I said, okay, I got another tip that somebody named Sissy was involved. Now I know that's Sissy Freeman. So I went across to her office. And I had the shirt on, which was bad, I guess. Anyway, I went into the office and she said she's not here. The little lady there said, oh, she's not here. So I raised my voice a little. Out came my office, came somebody, and I said, who are you? She said, I am the judge. You can call me Judge Freeman. And I said, oh, you people are trained, I guess. Anyway, I am so tired. I've only been here a short period of time. I didn't want to get involved in politics, but I worked 2 days, and the timing of this was so one day after the election. 1 day after the election. And Tina Brown was working just as hard as I worked for somebody else. Coke was working and involved in the election. So the sheriff decides to pull the trigger the day after the election. Why would he do that? Now, the only thing I finally got the Freedom of Information to you yesterday, and that gave me Tina Brown's name. That she was the one that accused. She felt bad. I would say something about her, get kicked out of here about her. But anyway, she basically filed a claim. And now the sheriff has put out a memo and said, and I'm going to go after everybody else on social media that says anything bad about my people. That basically is how I read the person. He hasn't apologized. He's going to pursue this, and so is the DA, and so is the J. I want to know who did the bail report. What judge? Were you the judge that signed that bail report? Because you can do it, you know. I'm trying to find out that, they won't release it, but I'll find out someday. Thank you.
Next speaker is Daniel Lakey.
Well, thank you guys for giving me a few minutes to talk. I want to let you know I support item number 1, so I appreciate you guys putting it on there. I think it will help you guys. I also appreciate you guys looking at subsection K and what it can do for the community. We've got a lot of projects coming in, and it's time for us to act. And we have to step up, we have to do something, and it's a tool for you guys to use. The first thing that I think you'll need to do with that, and it is within the law for us to do it, is anytime we get a large building, we need to use it to demand that they do an environmental study and a water impact study before they even start construction. If you guys want to do something and show all the companies that have come in that we're serious about protecting Hood County, you can do that with Wolf Hall 3. Before they build it, you do have the right to ask them to do a water study. The reason this is important is that if you don't understand, it's not just the pollution of the lake when, Tom was talking about running across dirty cars. Where's this water going? A lot of these large corporations are building these buildings are about 1 million square feet for each one of their buildings. 1 million square foot is roughly 30 acres. It's 29.4 acres. Anytime you take that amount of land that used to absorb water when it rains and it doesn't anymore, it has to run off. And where is that 30 acres of water going? How is it impacting the neighbors? Who's it going to flood? How's it getting to the river? These things are very important to us. We have a responsibility to protect the air, the land, and the water of Hood County. That is our responsibility. We need to leave it for the people behind us. That doesn't mean an industry can't come in. It just simply means that we have to make sure that when they come in, they're not destroying the county behind it. They operate where they are. They don't destroy the rest of us. When you talk about using abatements for, enticements to get them to do the right thing, use it for water purification. Use it for air purification. Anything that is going to help protect the residents of the area, those things are worth giving a little bit of an abatement because those require an investment the company doesn't want to make them make that investment. You can also do it in the oil and gas industry. They have a deconstruction plan. Anytime they're doing a large project, they have to figure out how they're going to put it back when they're done. We can ask these companies, what are the deconstruction plans? What happens if you choose to leave? How are you going to bury us? So we want to make sure that we're protected on the back end. These are just some things that I think y'all should consider, but they're things that we need to consider very quickly because we have a lot of industry coming in very fast. One thing I would like you to do is, I would hope that each one of you would write to the TECQ and oppose the air permit over in Toller for that new power plant. Hood County, when Wolf Hollow 3 is built, will be the only county in the state of Texas with 4 gas power plants, and that will be number 5. If you guys did not hear it back in July when you were told that our air quality is now non-attainment, we are a non-attainment zone according to the TECQ. We're just waiting for the state or for the federal government, EPA, to come in and tell us that. The application that they applied for in Toller is illegal according to state law and federal law for any city or any county that is in a non-attainment zone. And because our pollution levels for ozone are so high, this application is illegal. Now, EPA has a regulation that says even if they have not, and it's 40 dot something, and I apologize for that, but they have a regulation that says even if they have not declared us officially as non-attainment, the state is not allowed to approve a permit for it. We found this out the day before we took it to court, and so we couldn't use that information when we fought Wolf Hollow 3, but I'm certain if we would have been able to prove it in court, that one would not have been built. But there's no reason to build number 5, and then if we start looking over into the one in Abbey Bend, we sure don't need number 6. So I'm asking you guys to tell the TCEQ, if they're going to approve a power plant, it has to be built on layer technology. It has to be one step up. It cannot be built under the current plan that they're doing. At the very least, that will also send a message that we're trying to protect our county. I'm not here to tell you to deny every industry coming in. There's no way we can stop it. I'm just asking you guys to help us be smart, help us protect the people, and do the things and use the tools that we have in order to be successful in having a growing community, but also a community that protects its lakes, its air, and its winds. Other than that, I appreciate everything you guys have done as far as just trying to look into the stuff that we've given you recently. You don't always get that, and so thank you, and let's just move forward and protect Hood County.
Judge, Commissioners, I'm Cheryl Shadden. I'm here to talk to you about TCEQ, just like Danny did. I'm going to start off with my ask. My ask is that all of the elected officials in Hood County and Somervell County get behind us and ask TCEQ for emissions monitoring in Hood County. The closest emissions monitoring in our area is in Dallas. That's not remotely representative of the airshed here in Hood County and Somervell County. We have 3 gas power plants. We have a 4th one being built right now as we talk. A 5th one in Toller, a 6th one down in Abbey Bend, and there's no emissions monitoring beyond ozone in this area. So the ozone levels have doubled in the last 2 years. They've doubled, and that's not including Wolf Hollow 3 that's being built now. They've doubled in Hood County just from the 3 gas power plants that are here. That doesn't even begin to talk about the water issues. So we need emissions monitoring. I will help do that process. I need all of our elected officials, including Commissioners Court, City Council. I need our representative, I need our senator, I need anybody running for election. I need you to get behind us on this. We need to do emissions monitoring, standing emissions monitoring. They used to have emissions monitoring in Midlothian. That's been offline since 2022. So the emissions are not being monitored here. When TCEQ approves permits, here's Wolf Hollow 3 for instance, when they approve permits, it's a standalone permit. So they look at this one power plant and go, oh, well, that pollution from that one power plant is not so good. Here's your permit. Come on in, water's fine, Hood County's open for business. But they don't do cumulative air monitoring, not modeling, not monitoring, nothing. So you have 4 or 5 gas power plants, and every time they build a new one, they are not forced to look at all of the emissions that are in the area right now. They just look at that standalone one, and that's it. So we really need monitoring in this county. We need everybody to get behind it, not just a few of us in the community. We need you elected officials to get behind that. Sign a petition. I'll help work on the paperwork. I really need us all to get behind this to help Hood County. Thank you.
Cindy Highsmith.
Yes, I'm Cindy Highsmith, and I appreciate you allowing all the people in the county to come up and speak. It's very important. But I want you to look at what's been going on. So 2 weeks ago, when we had court, people came up and they talked about the issues with the AI data centers. And then you had a workshop, and there were so many people standing outside, we weren't aware of it. But there were bukus of us who couldn't get in, because so many people wanted to tell you what they thought. And here today, speaker after speaker is coming up, even though it's not even on an agenda item, and they're talking about these data centers. So why are we doing that? Because I'm nobody. Who are you? You are elected representatives, and we depend on you to do something for us. So I appreciate my commissioners so much, because every single permit that's come up with TCQ, she has put in public comment. Does it make a difference? Yes, they tell us that if elected officials don't put in comments, you won't even get a public meeting. So I thank my commissioner very much. I thank Chip Jocelyn over in Somervell County, because they're showing up. Why show up? Why do it? Does it mean I don't want De Cordova steam plant? Does it mean I don't want Wolf Hollow 1? Does it mean I don't want dependable energy? No, that's not what I'm telling you. I'm telling you is that I want them to use the best available practices. Practices have changed. You can treat wastewater differently than what they're doing over in De Cordova State Plant. They're a single cycle plant, so they put a lot of wastewater right below right at the dam, and then it comes on down to where I live. So we can ask that, and you can ask it. All of y'all can do that, and it's important that you do it. So here we've got this taller one coming up. Make sure you write a letter, ask for a public meeting, ask for a contested hearing, show up. I appreciated Commissioner Samuelson coming and we'll follow one. She said, good golly, you've been in business and what was it, 2000 or something? She goes, you mean you haven't made any changes to your system? And they said, no. And she said, well, can you? They don't have to, because nobody's making them. So you need to say something. Keep saying something. Now I'm going to tell you what I did. Nobody knows this. Well, somebody might know it, like John. But anyway, okay, so I really burned up about this whole Midlothian deal. How in the world can you not be the state, not be monitoring our air quality? The only thing that's monitored is ozone. That's ridiculous. So I started, sending emails, and I can be pretty persistent. And I started sending, the head, Brandy Brooks, she's the Deputy Director of Air Monitoring Division. I started sending her an email. She got sick of me. She responded back, but she got sick of me. She said, well, just file a complaint. So, what did I do? I tried to do something. So first I called my state representative. Crickets, nothing. So then I called the head of the House, the Texas House Representative Natural Resources. They told me, we'll get her to call you back. So this Celia Sellers, some admin under her, called me back. She said she'd do something. Crickets. Okay, so then I called Shelley Verlander over there in Senator Birdwell's office. She listened to me, and she said, okay, I'm gonna do something, Cindy. I said, okay, do something. So then she got Clint on it, okay? So then she got Senator Birdwell on it, and I'm gonna give him credit where credit's due. He was not aware of it, you see, but so he called the executive director and had a little chit chat with her. And then they got the mayor over there in Midlothian, they got the general manager, and they had a meeting about it. So then they called me back. I was at the state fair, so they're ruining my day. But anyway, they called back and they said, well, okay, they know of a site now. And, but they walked me through the whole thing, what has to happen. It'll be 2 years, folks, 2 years. So, but I sent out more emails. We'll see what they say, see if they were able, because they had to get EPA approval. But I give him credit, because he's the only one that's done anything.
This has done, I'll let you go on way in excess of your 5
Oh,
minutes,
well, I could go on for
I know,
34
that's
minutes.
what I'm saying. I do realize that, but
I know
thank you
that.
very much. The next speaker is Mark Lowry.
Judge and Commissioners Court, I thank you for this time. My name is Mark Lowry. I live at 3712 Lonesome Creek Road in Granbury, Hood County, Texas. I want to follow up on the special meeting that was arranged last week. It was an amazing turnout with people from all walks of life of Hood County trying to express their concerns about what's going on in the nature land of Hood County. There were executives, retired people, there were ranchers, there were tenants, were homeowners, a broad spectrum of people. Unfortunately, all of them couldn't get in and speak, but I think what it demonstrates is the concerns that we residents of Hood County have for the future of our lovely county. The legacy of this court will be one of two things. They're going to be a legacy of allowing industrial complexes to come in without any checks and balances, and eventually destroying our environment, ruining the nature land of our county, or it'll be one that stood up strong in a time in America where our environment is important and we can do things. We have to stretch 231 subchapter K as much as we can to benefit us. We have to look at this Brazos Pact that they presented to you. You've got to take decisive actions and soon before this county nature area gets lost and then we lose it. The generations will look back at us and they will see how disappointing it is. We all learned at a very young age, whatever goes up comes down. This watershed is the entire county. It says in subchapter K, the entire county is impacted by the watershed. So whatever goes up, whether it's magnetic fields, is emissions of some sorts, is coming down into our watershed. We have to take decisive action. Your legacy will be on whether you let this county slip away from us or you preserve it for future generations. I'm going to step back a second here and I want to talk on what others in this esteemed group behind me, Mr. Harrell and Constable Shirley, spoke about. I'm one of the few people in this room, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong and it's over with, spent 35 years of my life in law enforcement. I understand completely what it means to investigate somebody, to detain somebody, to arrest somebody, to present an investigative package to the courts for prosecution, and yes, put people in jail, penitentiaries for long periods of time. As I spoke with Mr. Biggers, who was arrested by this county, it's a serious business, and every law enforcement officer needs to take that responsibility each morning and decide they're going to share their service with upright standing and be fair without personal vengeance or without political vengeance or without any violation of the constitutional rights that they choose. And I'm concerned of what I've witnessed throughout this period of time since Biggers. We've also had other people, just most recently, Kolton. I can't speak on the elements of the crimes. I'm not going to sit here and say anybody's innocent or guilty. What I'm going to say, they weren't a threat to the community. They weren't a threat of risk of flight. There has to be discretion. Law enforcement has discretion. I know our district attorney's office is busy. I've presented cases to them, cut and dry cases, over $100,000 losses that took 2 years to prosecute. And I have cases that sat over there that I presented on clients that were never investigated. I don't know why. You call in, you meet with them, it never happens. This is not the way law enforcement is supposed to work in our county. This commissioner court can be a decisive bully pulpit and speak to the law enforcement officials in this county and take a step back of what we're trying to turn this county into. I talked about a legacy earlier on the environment. I'm talking about a legacy of this court. This is all over the United States now through various formats. Your legacy will be one of fairness, equitable distribution of our laws and enforcement of those laws, or it's going to be one where people are afraid to come to this county. They're going to be one where people are going to leave this county because they're afraid to travel in and around this county without being unnecessarily arrested. So I ask that you really reach deep down inside yourself and take some decisive action to get this stuff to stop. Thank you.
That concludes the open comments part, and so we're now moving into the miscellaneous business. And I'd say this every time, but if you want to speak on any agenda item, you must fill out a public participation form and hand it to the sheriff. The sheriff will hand it to Christine Leftwich, our county clerk, who will number it and get you in line to speak at the appropriate time. So, item number 1 is discuss and consider approving and agreeing to Bracewell's engagement letter for Hood County, Texas Economic Development Matters. I brought this up and read it at the last Commissioners Court meeting. I've been looking for a law firm that has the stature and the expertise, I think, to represent us on a level of the legal representation that these data centers and power companies come into our county. I have furnished a copy of the engagement letter to the Commissioners Court, to our county attorneys, to certain other people, to Greg Harrell, to let him look at it and review it on the deal. And I really think it's I've spoken to Blakely Fernandez, who does this work, and what she has done since the last time I've spoken to you is to added a paragraph on page 2, which I'd like to read right quickly, and this deals with the economic development here that everybody's concerned with. And she's added, because I told her that we wanted legal advice and her assistance in developing the Hood County economic policies on industrial usage and economic development. She's well versed with that. She talked to me about it. And as you know, in representing with the data centers and power plants, she's making those guys put up the money for her legal fees, so that's covered. But to do this specifically for Hood County is what I asked her about. I said, this is something differently, and that was brought up at the last Commissioners Court meeting as well. And I said, what would you charge us? First of all, can you do this? Are you aware of this? And she's well versed in it. She said, yes, she can and has done this. And I said, what would be the charge on it? So let me read that one paragraph to you. With regard to establishing or revising county policies, creating a county industrial commission, creating special districts, or working with the county to set priorities for economic development, we will bill the county hourly. My 2025 hourly rate for government work is $650 an hour. Where appropriate, we will use associates and paralegals to ensure work is accomplished efficiently. For each project, we will establish a work plan with you, including estimated scope and fees before starting any work. That is as fair as you can get on this. I think Mr. Harold agrees with that. We briefly discussed this. I've discussed this with Matt Mills as well. I really think that this law firm and this lady in particular is well suited to give us the type of representation that Hood County needs in dealing with these data centers and these power plants. So, at this time, is there anybody else that would like to make any comment? Oh, yes, thank you. Yes, Brian Glenn.
Thank you, Commissioners. I appreciate being able to speak to you again this morning. I want to say I love your effort.
Speak into the deal,
I love your effort here to bring on a legal firm and start in this commission that we need to get started and start establishing rules that I've talked about before. So I love you for that. Thank you. I trust all of you have been involved in it and are in agreement. And I think that's the one thing I would say is be sure that you work with this law firm, and before you make any agreements with anybody, you've gone through the necessary steps to do some of the things I've pointed out in the paper that I handed you. I want to also talk a little bit about, I did a lot of digging trying to find the map that Ryan Hughes had in his presentation that got taken down off of Facebook, unfortunately. And he was very proud of the southwest corner not being a quality water district where he was putting it, so. I wanna point out on that map, it's hard to see, it's from the internet. I looked up from the zoomed in name and did a search and found it and recognized that was his map that he altered. But what I wanted to point out is, he was interested in the road corridor of 51, saying how wonderful it was that he was doing the development as was requested in the various things about these different districts. What he didn't point out is that there's a quality one water district that flows right over the top of that road. And I'm assuming it takes precedent over road development around that road. And I just wanted to bring your attention to that map and what he said. It's a little difficult to see at the second, but you can see it. And I don't really have anything. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Cheryl Schmidt.
Judge, Commissioners, I'm Cheryl Shadden. Thank you so much for looking into a law firm to support Hood County with Subchapter K. I have packets that I'm going to hand out, but I'm going to give you a brief talk about this. In 1999, the Texas legislature granted this court specific power, Local Government Code, Subchapter 231, Chapter K, to regulate development in unincorporated areas of the Brazos River and Lake Granbury Basin. Legislature did this to protect public health and safety, encourage recreation, prevent pollution of our rivers and lakes. Today, that purpose could not be more urgent. Hood County now has 3 gas plants operating, a 4th being built right now at Wolf Hollow, a 5th planned for Toller, a 6th planned for Fort Spunky directly on the Brazos River. Scientific and EPA modeling show that the maximum ground level dispersion of pollutants from stacks from gas plants occur in a radius 5 to 10 miles. Within that distance, pollutants travel, such as nitrogen oxides, particulate matter, volatile organic compounds. They settle back down into the ground into Brazos River watershed runoff. Every rainfall event then washes these contaminants directly toward the river system that this statute was designed to protect. Despite these realities, no cumulative air modeling, no receptor site testing, no stormwater or runoff studies have ever been conducted in Hood County. Each emission and drainage event ultimately impacts both the river basin and the residents living within it. Protecting this river basin means protecting the people, your constituents who live, work, and raise families here. These residents are within the dispersion zone, drawing from the same water table and breathing the same air that's being affected by unregulated industrial expansion. Chapter 231, Subchapter K, gives this court clear authority to act and empowers you to establish environmental protection districts, to regulate drainage, runoff, and setbacks, and to impose higher standards than a state minimum when the public welfare demands it. I urge you today to adopt the Brazos River Basin Environmental Protection Ordinance, create the County Development Commission, and require air dispersion runoff impact studies before approving any new industrial permits. When you protect the Brazos River Basin, you protect Hood County itself, the water, the air, and the people who depend on both. Thank you.
All the speakers, any commissioner wish to say anything? If not, I'll make a motion that we agree to and approve the Bracewell's engagement letter for Hood County, Texas Economic Development Matters. Second by Commissioner Wilson. Any further discussion?
The only thing that I was wondering about, in her footnote, which I did speak with her Monday, I guess, and I wanted to be sure that she had looked at subsection K and that was gonna be included in this paragraph that she added, and yes, she has looked at it. She mentions down in her footnote that it should take about 20 hours, 15 to 20 hours. I'm just wondering if we should put in a not to exceed, or if we should establish a separate fund that we can track so that it's not just, you know, part of invoices coming out of contingency and we look over in a few months and we've spent $100,000 or something. Could we do a line item transfer or something and create a separate fund that we could track this in?
Well, she also says that she would be talking to me already said that in developing a county policy and looking at the economic deal, she decided maybe 15 to 20 hours is what she estimates. So I think that gives us a deal. She's not gonna be trying to gouge us at all. I mean, she's the one that's trying to get the developers to pay for the attorney fees. That's the real cost in this. This is kind of a quantified deal, working on something, that we can. Now, setting up a line item group to do this, that's fine with me. Do you have any suggestions on that, Ms. Auditor?
You can handle it in the way that you handle all other expenditures, create a bucket of money, and then you can go backwards, like when we do the road projects and things like that. You say, do not exceed 100,000 or whatever you're comfortable with, and then you can watch that track down as the invoices are paid out.
Okay, well, that 20 hours, or the high side of her estimate, at her total cost, not including, and she said she's gonna try to use paralegals, would be 13,000. I don't know if 20,000, that gives a little bit of a buffer there, if we should start with that, or to set up the.
Well, I would say 25,000, that's still.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. All right, I'll amend my motion to say and set up a fund and set aside 25, not to exceed $25,000, but coming back to Commissioner's Court to discuss any, should it involve more work than that? How about that?
Great, thank you.
Okay. With that, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously. I'll give them a good meeting.
Where is the money coming from? Do you wanna use general contingency? Okay.
All right, item number 2, discuss and take appropriate action to approve the purchase, refresh of 73 Toughbook laptops, tablets, and accessories for county law enforcement and emergency management for $318,570.37 to be paid from Fund 55. Sheriff Deeds, Steve Graff. Yes, sir.
Commissioners, these tough books are over 5 years old. They've started having some issues. They're out of warranty. We've had to update them to Windows 11, and some take it, some don't. There's been some ongoing problems, so we started working on this really last spring, but so we're bringing it for you today, and that total is $318,570.37 for 73 that used to cover all law enforcement and emergency management. So appreciate you approving that and moving forward.
Okay, Steve?
Just here to support the sheriff. I agree that these do need to be replaced or end of life, and we need to make sure they're operational for our security officers.
John, sir.
Does that include the emergency management and fire marshal's office units?
Yes.
And all constables, is that?
Yes.
That's what I thought, I remember seeing that, so yes.
Yes, it includes all county law enforcement. I don't remember the exact breakdown for all of them, and emergency management also, and the fire marshal.
Good deal.
And then in the future, this is kind of a, I guess, a shock as far as having to replace all of them at once. So we've talked about having a rotation in the future similar to how we do your vehicles, so that some are, a certain number are replaced every year, so that we don't have this big expense all at once. And Steve's gonna work on that in next year's budget.
Yeah, some of the issues that we've come across are with Windows 11, some would take it, some wouldn't. There's some different reasons that it's all coming down at once that we need them, but I definitely understand that, so thank you for listening to us.
Good. All right, good deal. All right, with that, do I hear a motion?
I move that we approve the purchase and refresh of 73 Toughbook laptops, tablets, and accessories for county law enforcement emergency management for the amount of $318,570.37 to be paid from Fund 55.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, motion been made by Commissioner Wilson to approve the purchase refresh of the 73 Tough Books at a cost of $318,570.37 to be paid from Fund 55. Second by Commissioner Andrews. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously 5-0. Thank you.
Eagles not here.
Oh,
4-0.
I didn't see him leave. 4-0. All right, thank you. All right, item number 3, discuss and take appropriate action to authorize the county judge to apply for bulletproof vest partnership grant. This is a 50% match grant. The sheriff needs 15 vests at a cost of $1,500 each for a total of $22,500. The grant will reimburse $11,250 and the county will pay $11,250. Again, Sheriff Deeds.
Judge, Commissioners, this is, something we do every year. We've been a part of the Bulletproof Vest Partnership Grant, for over 25 years, I believe. And so this is taken into consideration. Denise Lizen has looked into and kept up with all the law enforcement, not just the sheriff's office, but all county law enforcement. And, came to me and said, we need this, 15 vests to keep everything updated, for the ones that are going out of service after 5 years. So this is one I just needed approved, so we could re-up it for this year, and we should be able to get that grant. So when we do get the grant and we, go forward to buy these, then we'll have to pay the $22,500 up front, but then they'll reimburse that money back. So that's the way it's, county will pay $11,250. That's what we'll get back after it's all done.
Well, you know, the protection we need for our deputies, that's for sure. Do I hear a motion?
Move that we authorize the county judge to apply for the Bulletproof Vest Partnership Grant. This is a 50% match grant. The sheriff needs 15 vests at a cost of $1,500 each for a total of $22,500. The grant will reimburse $11,250 and the county will pay $11,250.
Second. Motion been made by Commissioner Samuelson to authorize the county judge to apply for the Bulletproof Vest Partnership Grant. The terms have been stated. Second by Commissioner Wilson. Any further discussion?
And, our auditor suggests Fund 55.
From Fund 55. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously 5-0. Thank you, Sheriff. All right, item 4, discuss and take appropriate action to allow the county judge to sign the memorandum of understanding for each of the entities receiving a grant from Hood County in the 2025-26 budget from the public assistance budget. Got 5 listings. This has already been approved by previous court. This is just a memorandum of understanding that's already been approved in the amounts, and I've got 5 of them here,
So this was, just a best practice to implement, the memorandum of understanding, and each of the entities have worked with the law department, the auditor and I did to create the MOU and get the document signed, and they all returned them, and so they're ready for you to sign, so.
You making that motion?
I'll move to allow the county judge to sign the memorandums of understanding with each of the entities receiving a grant from Hood County in the 25-26 budget from the public assistance budget.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Commissioner Samuelson to allow the county judge to sign a memorandum of understanding with the 5 entities that we have received the grant from. Second by Commissioner Andrews. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries again unanimously 5-0. Thank you. Item number 5, discuss and take appropriate action to authorize the county judge to accept the FY26 Senate Bill 22 award for the county attorney, district attorney, and sheriff's office. We got one speaker on this. You want to hear from the speaker, Monica Berry? I'm Brown, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Commissioners and Judge Massingill. My former comments will be submitted formally today. I want everything on public record. I have looked at this grant, and I think programs are awesome. I love it that people are looking into it. It is, it does say that the grantee warrants that it is eligible to participate in this program. That is at the beginning of it. Does unconstitutional use of the sheriff's office disqualify our eligibility is my question. When you get to part N, it says, suspected fraud and unlawful conduct must be reported, and who to? The Texas Comptroller of Public Accounts. So this leads me back to the discussion on how we're treating people with lawfare here in town with our sheriff. And I want to remind you that the very first time I came here, I watched a lady today stand here shivering and shaking because it's uncomfortable to speak here. Isn't speaking the number one fear people have next to death? So she came and spoke today. She stood up. Why is Monica Brown a public figure when I was a private citizen before? Because they came here with the Honorable Karen Lowry to tell you about what the school district was doing. Now, the school district isn't giving us free speech like what y'all are doing. They don't let you talk on more than one topic, or if you do, you gotta cram it into literally 3 minutes. So when you allow us to speak on each topic, bravo to you, because it takes more time and energy to do that. They won't. It's harnessing, okay? It's harnessing the public comments, which they taught other trustees to do. So why am I here? Why am I a public speaker? Why? I'm gonna give you, in case you think I'm off topic. You will receive today documentation of the abuse I have taken by people like Bradley Yarborough. Literal things he said to the public about me publicly. People saying that I wanna have sex with children. Calling me a transphobic because I spoke up against trans and drag at a school building. Oh, I'll give it to you. You're gonna get it all. I gave it to the sheriff. So the sheriff has one investigator, Lucky, who thought it was okay to arrest Kolton Krottinger. He has another deputy that came to my house and took all these statements. I'm gonna make sure every one of you has. People claiming things that endanger my children, endanger my life. I've stood up for right things here in this community. There are still sexually explicit books in your schools. You might be okay with that, apparently you are. It's not academic at all. And it's very damaging. I grew up in Parker County, close by. Is that not good enough? I'm a U.S. citizen. I turned in 3 people who need to go to jail. If Kolton goes to jail, they do too. So I'm here to tell you, you're gonna get the documentation, every single one of you. And I join Cheryl Shatton and the others to say our elected officials need to get behind we the people. And we the people need to get up here and stand and talk, even if it makes them shake in their boots. Unfair, unlawful, unkind, slander. Oh, you're a public official, you have no defense. Okay. Tell people I beat children with a PVC pipe. Not true. Tell them I fed feces to my children. Not true. Go look me up. 35 years faithfully married to my husband. Do you stand for that? If I were your daughter, would you let it go on? What's funny about this? ReadTheBooks.org, you laughed at one of our people who spoke up here, an 80-year-old man. I watched you laugh. We have lead administration at Granbury ISD rejecting historically valid, age-appropriate books, academically original, offered by the Daughters of the American Revolution, in writing on letterhead, and leaving sexually explicit books in. So we don't have law around here. We don't have order. Do you have the 10 Commandments in your classrooms? No, you don't. That's supposed to be in September. So I question if we're supposed to get a grant here, and as the comptroller knows that maybe we don't have a constitutional sheriff. And we have deputies doing 2 different things, and we have justice of the peace doing 2 different things. And it looks politically motivated. And we have trans and drag mocking you right in the face, giving you the middle finger in front of Daker Gym, owned by the Granbury Independent School District where minors were present. An agenda pushed on us. Not funny. Will we reward moral courage at every level? As David Rogers said, Shane, what isn't sound and doesn't honor history and tradition, our Constitution, our Texas Constitution, the Holy Bible, the most classic book ever.
and I have nothing to say about HCAD except bravo. Thank you for doing the forensic audit. I applaud that. Thank you so much.
Any further discussion? Do I hear a motion?
I move that we authorize the county judge to accept the FY 26 Senate Bill 22 award for the county attorney, district attorney, and sheriff's office.
I second it. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously 5-0. 6, consider and take appropriate action to vote for members of the board of directors of the Hood Central Appraisal District for a 2-year term to begin January 1st, 2026. We have John, please, if you're. We've got 3 names for the Hood County appraisal. I've got 5 years.
Mr. Lawson.
Yeah, well, I see it's combined on the thing too, so it's actually 5. Cause we got February, yeah, initially. So the 5 names are, first is Scott Bradley, second, John Highsmith, third, Richard Hayes, fourth, Mark McDonald, fifth is James Wall. Do I hear a motion?
Well, we need to determine how we're gonna divide up the 1,165 votes, so since there's 5 people, there's 5 people in 5 slots, so I just took our 1,165 divided by 5 is 233, so.
Judge, we've been informed by the county clerk that we have 1 speaker for this.
Oh.
Mark speaker is Mark Lowry.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners again. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I want to compliment this court on the names that's being submitted. I've reviewed them, and some of them I actually know. Mr. Hayes back in the back is an excellent fellow, on the P&Z, and James Wall. I think these are men that will demonstrate what the responsibility and authority of Hood Central Appraisal District means. As we go on through this agenda, through the day, we see that we're gonna have to spend $125,000 of taxpayers' money because it appears that the former board members of the Hood Central Appraisal District either didn't understand their authority or misappropriated money. So I also want to thank, as the day goes on, that we're gonna ask for them to give us a complete detailed explanation of what happened to our taxpayers' money. But I think these nominations are good. Again, as I said, I think Mr. Wall is an excellent choice, and Mr. Hicks in the back is an excellent choice, and I look forward to seeing them turn HCAD around for the taxpayers of this community. Thank you.
With that, I'll make a motion to distribute the 1,165 votes evenly, 233 votes apiece to each of the 5 candidates.
Second.
Argument been made by Commissioner Samuelson to cast the votes for the 5 people evenly among the 1,165 votes, second by Commissioner Eagle. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. Good deal, thank you. All right. Number 7, discuss and take appropriate action to authorize the county judge to accept the FY 26 solid waste grant award for the upgrades to the Citizens Collection Station.
See the stats,
She's over here.
there you are. I was looking at, do you wanna explain, this is pretty neat that this is happening. Do you wanna explain?
The North Central Texas Council of Governments approved the award.
Go ahead and go up there so everybody can hear you.
The North Central Texas Council of Governments approved the award for the solid waste grant. I believe it was October the 23rd that it was approved in their meeting. And we will need to start going through the timelines and addressing the improvements that were approved.
And what is it and how much is the grant?
It's $136,000 and something. It should be, I think, at the end of the proclamation there. That's the, there's one little page. Pig counties was $136,012.98.
And what are the improvements you're gonna make out there at the collection station?
We have I believe it's a 30 by 50 building that's going to be placed. There is an additional cardboard baler, and it will have doors so that this building will be able to house all of the baling equipment, and we'll have room to place items inside a building so they don't miraculously walk off. Because we have areas out there that are not under camera, and we couldn't film the entire area anyway. So this just allows us to put personal items inside the building. We should be able to fix a restroom out there. It's always been a porta potty since the collection station opened. And that's going to save us the money from that every year also. So there'll be different offsets. We also have ordered, going to get scales. So we will be able to weigh items.
This is all big improvement in functionality and, yeah, this is a good thing.
Thank you for submitting the project.
Good. Your motion?
Yes, I move that we authorize the county judge to accept the FY 26 solid waste grant award for the upgrade to the citizen collection station.
Second.
Motion been made by Commissioner Wilson to authorize the county judge to accept the FY 26 solid waste grant award, second by Commissioner Andrews. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously 5-0. Item number 8, consider and take appropriate action to approve the TCDRS plan and authorize the county judge to sign the TCDRS plan agreement for calendar year 2026. Ms. Welder.
Yes, sir. Good morning. This is the plan that you received during the budget process. The auditor has been given a copy of it back during the budget process. So this amount was budgeted for the 25-26 budget. I just need your approval so that we get it submitted before December 15th.
Good. We like the way you do things, Ms. Welder. Do I hear a motion?
Yes, I move that we approve the TCDRS plan and authorize the county judge to sign the TCDRS plan agreement for calendar year 2026.
Second.
Okay. That's been made by Commissioner Wilson to approve the TCDRS plan and authorize the county judge to sign the TCDRS plan for the calendar year 2026. Second by Commissioner Eagle. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously 5-0. Thank you very much. Okay, item number 9, review for approval HCAD budget amendment dated October the 28th, 2025. Take appropriate action. We've got one speaker on that. You want to take the speaker first? Jim Jarrett.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Mr. Stewart. Last time I spoke here, the microphone was not working, and at that point in time, I did congratulate each of you for the presentation and preparation that led to the favorable vote on Bond A and Bond B for the jail and roads. thank you again. And I also just wanted to speak to the fiduciary responsibility that each of us as elected officials have, and one of them is, as it relates to the Texas appraisal boards. And one is, there's potential breach of fiduciary duty if there is approving or ignoring unlawful budget amendments. What I want to say today is congratulations to our chief appraiser, Mr. Law. This budget amendment is by the book, is what should be done, in my opinion. It represents everything that we've asked for and everything that the tax code says. This should be done. Why is that important? Because from all of the years before Mr. Law got here, 216 through 222, over 1.6 million has been amended into the budget over and above what our taxing entities approve, as reported in the end of year appraisal district, or the appraisal district audits. It's not, I can't make it up. It's 1.6 million of that, 2.2 million is actually spent for unapproved items. This is, we approved utilities for $100,000. And the new budget comes in, utilities is now, has been lowered to 80,000, but something else of the board's approval has been thrown in for $150,000. More money was spent on items that we never saw, we never approved over the past years. Mr. Law has cleaned that up. Thank him for cleaning that up. And I'll also say thank you to everything that has been brought up to Mr. Law over the last 2 years, from excess funds, which excess funds are never returned back to the entities as they should, from items in the way that the budget is presented, the information that is presented as it relates to salaries of the, how many entities do we have, how many employees do we have, what is their role, what is their salary, what are their benefits, all supposed to be presented in the budget. There was a mission of that, it was pointed out, next budget comes out, all of that is there as per the tax code. So I think we'll, Mr. Law, just a big vote of confidence, and thank you for what you've done to give us. See, this is, although we don't have to approve it, I think it is important that we recognize it, and I encourage you to approve it when we present it to the city next Tuesday. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
So I would echo Mayor Jarrett's comments on the change in board. This, at HCAD and our change in leadership with the chief appraiser, we've gotten a lot more transparency since then, since the new chief appraiser has been on board. I think that while we, as Mayor Jarrett said, we don't have to approve this, thank you for sending it to us to review. And also thank you for finding a way within the money already allocated by the taxpayers to pay for the forensic audit. And, but I think that we, just in transparency from this taxing entity, I think that we owe it to our taxpayers to see it. And so that's why I put it on the agenda, so that they would be able to see this attached to our agenda, and then we could have this discussion. So, thank you, and with that, anyone else?
Yeah, I just want to pile on Mr. Law. It's been great having him. He's been very responsive. He's been very helpful to this commissioner, and I do appreciate that. And I appreciate what you've done with what you're working with to get things in order the way you have, and I do appreciate that. So, thank you.
Ditto that.
Then I'll move that we approve that HCAD budget amendment as presented by our chief appraiser.
I'll second that.
A motion made by Commissioner Samuel to approve the budget amendment as set by the HCAD. And I'll also, I think you're doing a fabulous job of answering my questions diligently and quickly. do a great job. Second by Commissioner Eagle. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously, 5-0. Item number 10, discuss and take appropriate action to approve an employee's vacation leave accrual date to begin the full-time start date of employment. This employee's leave accrual date started over when the employee transferred from Hood County Clerk's Office to adult probation. The employee started working full-time for Hood County 9/14 of 2020. If approved, this action will only